Hey, ladies. Welcome to Fun Friday, or as we call it, Messy Money Topics. It's your girl, Cherie, in the building. So glad to have all of you here. As you are coming in, please hit the like button. If you're listening to the replay, please put replay in the comments. That way, the Google and YouTube algorithms can know that content that you are seeing. So, we have a ton of topics that we're going to talk about today. Hope you have your popcorn ready. Um, there's some mostly fun topics, couple of serious topics, but nothing too serious. So we're just going to jump right in, ladies. Let us go through some of the messy money topics. Oh, before I forget, I'm sorry. If you're not on our email list, you can get on our email list, bwmakingmoney.com, bwmakingmoney.com. In the next probably couple of weeks, because I'm super busy this weekend, but next couple of weeks, we are going to have a session where we're going to review something that Jordan Peterson did. He had a woman come on and do an interview, and it was talking about the truth about race and merit. So we're going to talk about that from our point of view. We're going to do that um, behind the wall. I'll just say no payment to attend, but you need to be on the email list, bwmakingmoney.com, in order to attend that. And other than that, I think those are the only announcements that I have. Okay, so we've got a ton of news stories today. Let's just jump right in with the first messy money topic, which is about ChatGPT. It could cost over $700,000 per day to operate ChatGPT. $700,000 per day. How much is that a year to operate? Could you imagine how many zeros is that, ladies, to operate this business? Let's see, 700,000, just put it in my calculator here, times 365 is $255 million to operate ChatGPT on an annual basis. Hey, Samri, good to see you. 255 million. Let's see what this thing is saying. It's saying that Microsoft is trying to make it cheaper to run. Whew, my goodness. You thought you had to have a budget. Like they have to have a serious budget. Um, it costs this much a day to run due to, quote, expensive servers, and analysts told the information. ChatGPT requires massive amounts of computing power on expensive servers to answer queries. Microsoft is secretly building an AI chip to reduce the cost per the information. So they are looking to make a buku money from this, but right now it's costing $255 million a year to run ChatGPT. People are using it to write cover letters, generate lesson plans, redo dating profiles. I actually used it earlier today in order to write some stuff for me. So I happen to love it to the point where I'm kind of feeling a little guilty, maybe thinking about giving them my $20 a month. I haven't really felt the need to do it yet. However, there are some things I want to do with GPT-4, so I might, might do it. You're saying here all of our prompts equals free prompt engineering to train their AI. That is true. That is very true. They're using it's generative AI. So they're using what we're doing and interacting with us so that the system can become better. Absolutely. They're also saying here that's because ChatGPT requires massive amounts of computing power to calculate responses based on user prompts. Most of this cost is based around the expensive servers that are required. So, yeah, ladies, I don't think we have to read too much of this here for our messy money topics. I just saw this here and thought, wow, $700,000 a day to operate. Microsoft is going to get the cost down. We don't know how long it's going to take to make this AI chip. Um, I would not be surprised if they make billions of dollars a year on ChatGPT, so they'll be able to afford $255 million a year in order to operate ChatGPT. So you're saying here, I use ChatGPT daily at this point. It gets me unstuck. Yep, it does. Hey, computer and coin, good to see you. Okay, so that is our first messy money topic. The second messy money topic that I have today to go through is about Amazon because Amazon is tripping. Amazon wrongly categorizes vendors with quote small business and quote black owned business badges. Ladies, it's saying here the conglomerate states on his website that the badge program is intended for businesses that employ fewer than 100 people and have less than 50 million in annual revenues. But I don't understand why this thing has so many ads on here. It's saying here, if you're an avid shopper of Amazon, you may have noticed the small business or Black owned business badges while roaming the virtual aisles. Well, this week, Business Insider, citing the technology publication, so the information's apparently been busy, is reporting that Amazon has been wrongly categorizing vendors on the site as small and Black owned. So, ladies, we're trying to do our thing, trying to make sure that the black dollar circulates, and apparently Amazon is throwing that around any and everywhere that they want to. So you may have to do a second check by going to a vendor's website or something like that to make sure that they are truly black owned. So they're saying here Amazon gave brands like Chomps, a grass fed beef jerk firm, a Black owned business badge, though founders Rashid Ali and Pete Maldonado are not Black. Similarly, the e commerce site awarded small business badges to multinational corporations with thousands of employees. So, ladies, look, there's an epic fail here. Epic fail. Amazon putting badges on saying it's Black owned when it is not Black owned. So just watch out for Amazon with regards to what they are doing. Let's talk about another story here. Another messy money topic from Business Insider about Bed Bath and Beyond, believe it or not. They had short sellers pocket over $1 billion as the home goods retailer files for bankruptcy. I wish I was part of that crew that thought to short sale Bed Bath and Beyond. I'd love to have $1 billion or $1 million or a portion of that money coming to me. So apparently, everybody knew that Bed Bath and Beyond was having problems, but certain people did something about it. They shorted the stock, and they're going to be $1 billion richer because of it. The shares tanked 99% over the past year as the home goods retailer suffered months of trouble. Bed Bath & Beyond said it will kick off sales at locations on Wednesday. So, ladies, if you are into stock investing, things like this, paying attention to stories like this can be very important to your portfolio. Okay, let's get into Jada and Will. How many of you heard that Red Table Talk has been canceled? It's officially been canceled by Facebook. So they are shutting down not only Red Table Talk, but apparently Steve Harvey had a show as well on Facebook Watch. They're canceling that too. They're canceling all of their original content in exchange for stuff going on in the metaverse. They're saying here the series has 11 million followers on Facebook and an active Facebook discussion group with 600,000 members. I've been wondering how many people are actually, they have 11 million followers, but how many people are actually watching each episode? Could be pretty interesting. Let's see if this says it in here at all. Oh, apparently oh no, they did not win. I thought it said they won an Emmy. Okay, it says here, and let me know if you all watch Red Table Talks. Do you all watch it? I've only watched clips. I don't really watch it. So, amid broad cost-cutting moves, Meta is shuttering the Facebook Watch Originals group, whose small slate of shows included the breakout hit Red Table Talk, hosted by Jada Pinkett Smith. A Meta representative confirmed that the company is shuttering its Facebook Watch Originals group, but declined to provide further comment. None of the Facebook Watch originals will be returning for new seasons. Moving forward, Meta's entertainment team is focused on creating virtual reality experiences in Meta Horizon worlds that can be accessed across Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger. With the shutdown of Facebook Watch Originals, Nina Lefevre, who is head of development and programming for the group, is leaving the company. Let's see if they say anything else here. Lefevre is exit coming as Meta's cutting 10,000 jobs. Blah, 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 blah is what they're saying. Um, yeah, they did say here that it also includes not only Red Table Talk, but Steve Harvey's talk show, Steve on Watch, a revival of his daytime show after it was dropped by NBC. Other Facebook Watch shows shepherded by Lefevre included docuseries style shows from Gen Z star Jojo Siwa, Yara Shahidi, and Becky G. So I don't know who any of these people are. Red Table Talk series is produced by Westbrook Studios, co-founded by Jada and Will. The company is said to be looking for a new distributor. So this is one of the things that I was curious about. I was curious if Jada and Will actually owned Red Table Talk. Looks like they do. Looks like they're smart, savvy business people. So they're able to take this concept and find a new distributor. The truth is, I mean, do they really need a new distributor? Anybody can do a podcast these days and hire somebody to get sponsorship deals. Why do they need a new distributor? Anyway, they are saying here the daytime Emmy Women talk show featured Pinkett Smith, daughter Willow, mother Adrian, um, and it has 11 million followers. They also had the spinoff Red Table Talk, The Estefans, featuring Gloria Estefan, her daughter Emily, and her niece Lily. So, look, the other thing, so actually, this was the other thing I saw here. They're looking for a new home after Facebook Watch cancellation. So, what are you all saying here? Yara is the new Tinkerbell. She is a biracial young lady. Okay, half black, half Persian, I believe. Okay, all right, cool. Y'all know I spend my time doing work. So I don't know who a lot of these people are these days. But anyway, so something we can learn that Jada and Will actually own Red Table Talk, which is good because a lot of people were not owning their stuff until now. Why they need a distribution deal, I don't know. I mean, Will Smith is richy, richy, rich. They have the coins to just do their own podcast and distribute it as they wish. So, anyway, maybe I don't know enough about entertainment to know why they need a distribution deal. But, you know, let's talk about a little politics and money, a little messy money topics with regards to politics and money. Apparently, um, how much is an early presidential primary worth? These are just the primaries, ladies. This is not general election. Georgia hopes it is worth $1 billion. Georgia. So here's what's happening here. I actually read the article. What's happening is that previously Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina were the first states to host presidential primaries. And because of that, everybody who was running for president would be spending a lot of money in those states. And I think Nevada as well. Well, now Georgia is a battleground state officially. And the Democrats are thinking about moving their primary calendar around to have Georgia go before Iowa. So what Georgia is thinking is if Georgia primary is before Iowa, then all of that presidential money that's going to be spent for figuring out who's going to be the nominee is going to go to Georgia. It's going to go to Georgia. So that's what they're trying to do with this story. Ladies, you all know that the presidential election, big money, especially in these battleground states, people spend big, big money in order to get the word out, in order to have ads on TV, signage, events, things like that. I happen to have known a couple of people who were going to do some event centers, and one of the things they were looking at, especially one of them, was in a battleground state, and one of the things they were looking at was all of the um, presidential events and election events that could happen in that state. So, hey Denise, good to see you. So, ladies, that is one of our messy money topics is politics. Now, the next thing, you thought the manosphere were the only group of people talking about worthless college degrees. Ladies, you're wrong because India is apparently upset about worthless college degrees as well. Now, personally, I don't think any college degree is worthless. I think that some degrees are worth more than others. But if college just teaches you how to think and reason and move strategically, then it is not a worthless degree. Not at all. But anyway, this article here says India's population is on track to exceed China's, but a report says its workforce is weighed down by thousands of people with worthless college degrees. Ladies, how many times have we heard the Indians, the Asians, they're so great. They can walk on water, they can fly around the sun 3 times. They're beating us, all of those things. Well, according to this article, they think they have worthless college degrees. Let's read through this a bit. So, India's population is going to most likely surpass China's population. It's one of the things that happened because of the China one child policy. It remains burdened by a workforce with worthless degrees. Small private colleges have been churning out incompetent graduates, Bloomberg reported. This is because of colleges with incompetent teachers, irregular classes, and outdated curricula. Y'all know a lot of scams also come from India as well. I've been watching some of the scam channels out there. So it's saying here some of the tech world's top executives, like Google, Alphabet's Google, Sundar Pichai, and Microsoft's Satya Nadella come from India's top colleges, but scores of people with worthless degrees who've graduated from lesser known private institutes lack the basic skills required to secure a job, according to Bloomberg. Small private colleges with incompetent teachers, irregular classes, outdated curricular, and no opportunities for on the job training are making the country's workforce more unemployable. This glut of incompetent workers comes as India's population is set to overtake China's by mid 2023. Calling such so called degrees as being worthless would be by far an understatement. Anil, whomever, a former dean of education at Delhi University, told Bloomberg. When millions of young people are rendered unemployable every year, the entire society becomes unstable. A study by an employee assessment firm, Weebox, revealed that half of all future graduates in India would be unemployable because of flaws in the country's education system. The country's unemployment rate stands at 7.45%. So you may say, well, Cherie, why are we talking about this? And I see you all have a lot of comments in here that I'm going to get to. A couple of reasons. Number one is because people think that India is going to be the next China with regards to manufacturing. Number two is if people do not have employment and they do not have opportunity in their own countries, What is the first country they think to come to in order to become successful? America. Erica Williams yesterday talked about the fact that we have 10,000 people coming across the border every day, 10,000 illegal immigrants. This is where you have to skill up, ladies. This is where your children have to really skill up because they are going to be competing against people who, even if they are not as well educated, they don't speak the language, they have hustle when they get here. So you're saying here, I have a worthless liberal arts degree, one of the best decisions I ever made. Good for you. The issue is also a concern with many cities in the South. The workforce is not competent enough to compete and bring value to these companies. Yeah. Yeah, which is why I'm always telling you that all of us need to make sure that we have all of our skills together. Because getting to the top 10% for the supermajority of us ain't is the bar is low. Who is the regulating body that credentials these colleges and universities? It doesn't say in the article. I don't know. That's a great question. They may not have regulating bodies like we do. India has always had a very bad caste system, worse than Black America, infinitely worse. So they spent their time focused most likely on the upper caste systems and let the lower caste systems go. And now that they need their entire country to be on the same page and to be competitive, now they're complaining that people have worthless degrees. So, but that's a great question. Okay, this is one of my favorite stories here. There is a CEO that told her employees to leave Pity City and actually get it together. I don't know if you all saw this, but I'm actually going to show her. Let's see here. I'm going to show her video here. It was shown on CNN. So many people talked about it. This thing here is like, I won't call it the boss from hell, but she surely doesn't know how to motivate anybody. So let's watch CNN really quickly and see what this boss has to say.
Season for a lot of employees. So this is bonus season for a lot of employees. So staffers at the office furniture company, Miller Knoll, asked their CEO during a video town hall how they could stay motivated if they do not get a bonus. But her pep talk may not have had the intended effect.
Get our orders out our door, treat each other well, be kind, be respectful, focus on the future because it will be bright. It's not good to be in a situation we're in today, but we're not going to be here forever. It is going to get better. So lead by example, treat people well, talk to them, be kind, and get after it. Don't ask about what are we going to do if you don't get a bonus? Get the damn $26 million. Spend your time and your effort thinking about the $26 million we need and not thinking about what you're going to do if we don't get a bonus. All right? Can I get some commitment for that? I would appreciate that. I had an old boss who said to me one time, you can visit Pity City, but you can't live there. So people, leave Pity City. Let's get it done. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Now, here's another little bit of context you need. In 2022, that CEO, Andy Owen, took home $5 million in compensation, including stock options and a bonus. I'm back with the panel.
Okay. She told everybody to get it together. She said she had her $5 million from last year, but that don't mean you're getting a bonus this year. Shut up, basically. Basically was what she said. What about the 26 million she's talking about? Apparently, they need an additional $26 million in revenues, is my understanding from some of the other reports that I saw. So what they were saying, what the employees were saying is, but are we going to get a bonus? And she's like, you better make sure that we get these revenues through the door first and leave Pity City. Not very motivational. I'm sure the entire Zoom was like, F this woman. And she brought home $5 million last year. So being understanding from the employee's point of view, they may have had plans for their bonuses. It may be tight for them already. We don't know if they got raises. We don't know if their cost of living increases are sufficient enough, etc. She just, like you said, she might be going on into reality TV. She might be going into something because she is a hot mess. So the CEO cannot bring in revenue for her company, and she is expecting her direct reports to get it for her. Basically, I think I think that might have been a company wide call. I think so. She is a failed CEO. First and foremost, for CEO is revenue. There is a reason why most CEOs come from sales. Absolutely. Absolutely. You want to talk? Yeah, sure. Hold on a second. Let me get the link for you. There you go. Um, the StreamYard link is in there. So how did she get this position? Who knows? She could have been a nepo baby. She she might have been like one of those women that went to what do you call it? One of those Ivy League schools or something like that. So super smart, but doesn't know how to relate to people. I mean, that whole thing is crazy. You are asking here about the illegal immigrants. However, those illegal immigrants who come in via unauthorized entry will not be eligible for certain jobs. Plus, they are limited where they can even travel. They cannot travel state to state. Oh, I thought I saw or understand that they can travel state to state once they get in. But you're right that they are limited in what they can do. They are limited with regards to certain jobs. But now there are some municipalities that are hiring illegal immigrants. My understanding is that I think somewhere in California, they're allowing illegal immigrants to become police officers, I believe. So, hey, Lake Life, how you doing?
Hi, I don't know if you can hear me.
I can. Hi.
Oh, wonderful. Happy Friday.
Thank you so much.
I
You
love
like our messy money topics?
your channel. It's just, I really do. Just your effervescent kind of fit, you really fit my own personal vibe. I just
Mhm.
really appreciate your channel. I really do.
Oh, thank you so
Yes.
much. What did you have to say?
Well, I was being facetious when I said that. Like, can we talk? Can we talk? I was actually being facetious.
Oh.
Thank you for letting me on. Hi, thank you. If I may
Uh,
be honest,
uh-huh.
there really does need to be active discussion regarding the leadership abilities or maybe capabilities of certain people.
Mhm.
Simply because you know the right people or even affirmative action, and we all know who the number one beneficiary is of affirmative action.
Mhm.
Definitely not anyone who looks like me.
Right.
Yeah, it's becoming more evident who really brings value. And for a CEO to go on camera with that particular disposition, it's very, very disheartening and quite concerning, to be very honest with you.
Yeah, well, she's not really winning any morality prizes. And, there are people who talk, for example, about Steve Jobs and how rough and hard he was to work for, and some of the other men out there, and how tough and hard it is, to work for them. And because of that, they had people around them that were able to pull out this ingenuity.
Right.
But she ain't Steve Jobs, right? It's a furniture manufacturer. Um, and there is also a way to handle things with decorum as well, especially as women.
Absolutely.
Um, Whereas she could have said something even as simple as, "Hey, right now we just want to make sure that we can stay afloat, and we will come back and talk about the bonuses themselves." Right?
Right.
Um, and that's all she had to say. But the fact that she did such now, and I don't even think this was a slow news day story. I think that this was just so outrageous that CNN picked it up and other, major news outlets picked it up as well. So,
It's you made a really good point, Sheree. You when you mentioned ingenuity
mhm,
and a good manager, first and foremost, a very good manager knows how to lead a team to
mhm.
a desired end. To
Yeah.
a desired end. For example, the quarterback. The quarterback is essentially the leader. The quarterback is leading that team. A team is many to one. That
Mhm,
one being that final product, solution, or just their goal. Feel their goal, football. All these sports. If you don't know how to lead a team to bring out ingenuity, if you do not know as a leader to have the appropriate decorum, you have no team and they will leave. And
mhm.
seeing this more and more with female managers and specifically middle management, where your behavior is disruptive and destructive. And I've seen this really with two particular groups of women. And it's a matter of time before you know what it is. Private equity, they will come in. Private equity,
Yeah,
we will go through the books. Private equity, they'll find that 26 million and they'll bring an additional 26 million and flick you away.
yeah, she wouldn't be needed anymore, definitely.
And what a lot of these managers, these female managers do not realize is that you really are not that important. What my own personal experience, Sheree, and my own, peaks and valleys, etc. People have issues with me because at the end of the day, once I come in and I do what I do with my liberal arts degree, many
Mhm,
people are needed. I come in streamline, I immediately bring value. I bring
mhm.
a level of value where I identify risk, I put it in a report, and I look at solutions. And I reach out to people for communication. It's a collaborative effort. You come in with a set goal, a purpose. It's not to, be nitpicky or even be a boss. I'm not sure, in tech, we have something, there's a scrum master, and everyone
Yes.
in your chat, and you know how much they make.
Mhm.
You know how much they make. But the first thing of scrum master is a servant leader. You are a servant leader. You're there to build, support the team because you're the one who's responsible for delivery of the solution. And you're a leader because you're the one who's accountable for the solution being delivered.
Right. And a true leader knows how to read the room. A
Exactly.
true leader understands that the individuals probably were more concerned than anything. They're probably thinking, I used the bonus to pay for my kids' education. I used the bonus to keep my mother in her assisted living, or I use most people are not, you know, going crazy, with their bonuses and things like that. A lot of people are just trying to figure out how they're going to make it from month to month.
Especially
So,
inflation,
say that again. I'm sorry.
especially with the inflation now.
Yeah, yeah, and especially with I think it was an office furniture company as well. So you're in an industry that is struggling, and I don't know like who the audience was. I don't know if it was just her leaders or her sales team
Probably
or
her
her
sales.
entire
It's probably her sales team. You know it was.
yeah, probably the sales team. Well, then the sales team is extra nervous. They're extra nervous. So, yeah. If you wanna stay up, you
Million.
can.
Let me ask you, Sheree, the fact that
Yes.
you even bring up the 26 million to
Mhm.
them and make it their responsibility, Sheree, that's borderline emotional blackmail. Like, why is your debt their responsibility? That's your responsibility. Your CEO, or maybe, well, regard your chief executive, you are
Mhm.
an officer. These people you're speaking to, they are not officers. You're the officer. You have signature authority. You have a level of responsibility. You have hiring, firing decision. You sign their paycheck, or you basically authorize the receipt of their paycheck. This 26 million is not their responsibility. They are W-2 employees. You pay them. You handle the business like the appropriate CEO that you are. If
Mm-hmm.
you cannot do this work, there are others who can. And to be honest with you, somebody half her age with twice her energy could get this done. And
Would have
this
been
is
able to
what
do it.
needs
Yeah.
to be understood. If you cannot perform, and you just mentioned India, I'm so glad that you did. And I don't think you did this on purpose, but I'm really glad that you did. One thing in my personal experience, what we know, they bring up India is the I think in terms of income, they're number one ethnicity over everybody, Indian immigrants,
Mm-hmm.
and they're first, second generation. One thing, and this will be the last thing I say, because I know it's just like other people come on too. One thing with Indian immigrants is the women. These women are professionals. So
They
it's
are.
it's not just the men, it's the women. And from these women can lead. These women can lead. Not only you're seeing, not at the CEO, not just CEO, because we do have Indian women CEOs, namely PepsiCo. I know she's been there for like well over a
Mm-hmm.
decade, like
Indira, I think her name is.
yes, just doing it.
Mm-hmm.
CEO, Indian woman doing it. And also Indian women, middle management. Nobody really talks about them. But from
Mm-hmm.
my experience, and I've 3 companies, my experience with them, they focus on the work. They focus on the work. And I cannot say that about well, specifically 2 other groups of women, just from my experience. They do not focus on work. It's everything else but work. It's a lot of workplace disruption, just it's chaotic, a lot of problems, just very, very inappropriate bad behavior. But Indian women, from my experience, they come in, they are focused on the team, they're focused on delivering the solution. And they're very amenable. But this is my experience with like Indian women in like mid-level management, tech leads, um, uh, like management managers, mid-level.
Yeah, mid-level managers. Yeah.
These,
I mean, so I've been an entrepreneur for so long that I haven't, ever been led or had a middle manager as,
yeah,
Indian American woman, but I do.
the corporate one in your chat, or in the,
Well, there are quite a few corporate people, which I was surprised when I started this channel. I thought I get a lot more entrepreneurs, but instead I have a lot more corporate women, which is great. But I was going to say the one Indian American woman that I did end up developing a relationship with, um, she was very nice and very kind, and then over time, she started letting her walls down, and I started to see that the same problems that we have in our relationships was the same problems that she had in her relationship. They just don't talk about it openly like we do on social media. So that was when I started saying, okay, we're glorifying people that we should not be glorifying at all. And at some point I'll tell like the full story with regards to that. But yeah, with regards to them being in a professional setting, they very much are about here's the task, here's how we're going to do it. And I haven't had any issues with
yeah,
Indian women.
in middle management, I haven't.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
just specifically speaking in management, and I think one
Mhm.
thing about tech, and it's a very ubiquitous term, tech. The women in tech, you really do have to perform. This type of nonsense, like this one with the furniture lady,
Mhm.
um, healthcare. I know it sounds very bad. I know it may sound. I know some of your chat may not like it, but these positions where it's majority women, or you're seeing a lot of women, even 1/3, I would be concerned, especially if you're the type of, like, if you're a dutiful worker, because it is known there is productivity issues. There's very serious productivity issues. It has something to do with family. It's not, it's really just the work environment, the lack of leadership, very much lack of leadership. You're also looking at a lot of women who really are not, who really should not even be in that role. To be, they're not, and for whatever reason they are. And you have these workplace environments where it's majority women, and which is in a lot of other industries like furniture industry or retail. These
Mhm.
positions, there are a lot of women, they do not pay six figures, so they're not really for your type of channel, which is, I mean, at 130 and above. They do not have the skills to compete. And the last thing I will say is that for someone like myself, this CEO, she really will not be around in the next 5 years because I will automate her out. You're not, I will automate.
Very true. And actually, I'm reading the CNN article about this, not the CEO, but the company. The average employee income was $44,810. So we're dealing with people who need their bonus. She made 5 million in compensation in 2022, but their average was $44,810. Even if they're living in the southeast part of the country, they need their bonus.
Oh yeah, they do. And their bonus probably just like a few $100s, if that's
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
Yeah, she's
So,
really
mhm,
disrespectful how she treated them.
yeah,
And
not knowing how to read the room.
Sheree, this coconut water, those
Uh-huh.
untouchables, quote, can come here and be viewed above Black Americans by default. That is unequivocally false. That is unequivocally false, 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 false. If when Black American, first and foremost, especially once you hit six figures, there is always a preference. I mean, besides majority society, it is Black American, and it's only becoming more so as we're just moving towards automation, because there are certain roles that are only specifically going to be for citizens. And when I say citizen, I really mean you, your parent, and your grandparent. There are certain roles that are not just going to be easily available to just anyone, to just any immigrant. So this coconut water person is not correct. Furthermore,
That's very interesting. So let's dig into that a little bit because so like I said, I'm not in corporate America, so I don't know as much about it. Because you do hear, at least online on social media, that everybody comes into the United States and they're above Black people. In corporate America, with regards to getting jobs, things like that. Let's just take corporate for now,
yeah,
right?
your
Um,
premise.
why do is because one issue that comes up is that it is perceived that Black people, and let's just take Black women for our channel, do not work as hard. We do not have the work ethic. We do not have the mental capacity as other people do. What are your thoughts with regards to that?
Well, I will say when it comes to Black women, uh, from what I work, because where I have been working, where I've worked, the only Black women I will work with are those who are veterans, or those who
That's
are veterans.
interesting. Okay.
Veterans. The reason is exactly for what you just said.
Hmm.
Black female veterans, they're in management positions. They are, and coming from that military background, you strive for solution. You do understand chain of command, and you really are just driven to work perform. And that is what I've experienced when I work with Black women who are veterans. It's a completely different, not just mindset, but also just experience. I also hold that same when it comes to even my own, like for management. At this point, from what I've experienced, I specifically prefer to work with a manager who also is a veteran or comes from a veteran family. You know, you do mention her on your channel quite a bit, Erica. Erica is a
Hmm.
military brat. She comes from a
Hmm.
very deep military family. And you see how she is, how she behaves, how she presents herself. She's very productive. That woman is very, very productive. She's consistently on the go, consistently looking for more and more and more. Even when I don't agree with her, like I may not agree with her via with a premise or a conclusion, at the end of the day, the she's base level correct. And she moves correctly. That's something else. There's a way that someone moves, and Black military women or those who come from that family, Erica's touched on this. There's no excuse. You work. I know I'm Black. Yeah, we know we're Black. And by the way, the military is like 1/3 Black and really always has been in the United States. Even the Continental Army was like almost like 60% Black, 2/3 Black. George Washington's army. Black
Hmm.
people serve, build military. We've seen what's been over the past 200 some odd years, the military building other countries, East Europe in the late 90s. You see the difference. And many of the Black people I work with, they do come from veteran, or they themselves are veteran, or their parents are veteran. So they're all, like USAA. They're all USAA family, USAA kids.
Yeah.
The work, it's just there. And in tech, you really do have to perform. There really is an expectation to perform. And in tech, they really, really, really want Black men, Black American men. I cannot stress that to you.
Interesting.
One of the
Now,
right?
so there is on YouTube at least, there is Antoine who has the Black Heights channel, really trying to get Black people, but I feel especially Black men into tech. There's Tech is the New Black. There's a couple of other channels and movements, but I don't see them getting much traction.
Mhm.
Or I see more Black women there. Now, I do disagree with you a little bit. I think that outside of veterans, there's a certain, if you grew up in a certain type of household. So first of all, my father was Army, so maybe I'm a little
Nice.
different.
Thank
And I've
you.
got, yeah, and I've got a couple of uncles who were also in the
Surprising.
Army as well.
Listening to your channel, that's not surprising at all.
Yeah.
Correctly.
But yeah, but so, but I'm also a child of the 80s, right? Um, I do think that outside of a woman being a veteran, if she, like you said, grew up either in a military household or in some sort of a household where performance was like the primary thing that was expected. Like I lived in a house where it was expected that you go to college. It was expected that you have good grades. Like certain things were expected. And when I got married, one of the things with my husband was he didn't expect his kids to go to college. And that was so foreign to me, you know? But I think you have certain Black people, just certain people, period. But let's just talk about Black people. You have certain people who grow up in a certain type of household where the level of excellence is expected and it comes out. Um, and one of the barometers, like you have, is veteran, but I think there are other couple of barometers as well that we can look at with regards to that. Um, but I do understand a little bit about what coconut water is saying because the default with the model minority, the default is Black people are not going to work as hard as the Indian person. So, but what you're saying in your experience is that that is not true in
Yeah,
your
right.
corporate
Where
experience.
Indians work, they work professional positions. They are in
Mhm,
tech. You'll see the wife and the husband, they're both in tech in some
mhm.
capacity. So with that being said, in tech, and doing this well over a decade, here's what I know. This is what happens, Sheree. You will have like the Indians and the other Asians, they'll come in. It will be a separation between those Indians and Asians, or just people just who are not raised in the United States, and then you'll have the Americans. So
Mhm.
Americans will see, like, of course, the Black guy. You'll see Black people, white people, Hispanic people, and they just kind of, there's that understanding. American culture is very unifying, and on top of that, just like the American vibe. So an American knows another American. It doesn't even matter race. You just know, and you can have an idea where that person was raised.
Mhm.
And there is an easiness. Like there is an easiness. One thing, like moving fast, kind of being pushy, delivering, just like kind of going back and forth, even on the calls. That's just kind of this separation occurs in tech because tech has a lot of Black men, more Black men than Black women, but definitely Black men. And I've a Black American man, he will become a manager. He will in a year. Not only that, he's not going to get fired. The only way he gets fired is not, let's say you do an incorrect configuration that costs a company money. They're
Mhm.
going to fire you. They're going to find root cause and you still will not be blamed. I've been on a call where an engineer, it was, I don't want to say he did something wrong, quote unquote, but what happened was his manager made a point to make it clear, you are not at fault. 3 managers spoke to the black male cybersecurity engineer, and they made it clear to him, you are not at fault. And they used the term we. We did the change. We did this. And his managers were all white. And he's the black engineer. He was a little concerned, but they made it a point for him to understand, you are not at fault. We're going to see what we can do, what happened here, and we'll do a process change if need be. So
What was he at fault though?
well, the thing is, not really, because everything has to be
Okay.
documented. So he did something that already was already was kind of what they were doing, the standard, but it wasn't necessarily the best. And at this particular point, like, it just failed. But
Okay.
the manager made a point. Well, we've been doing it this way for months. Okay, so he's not at fault. We'll change it now, but we're not going to blame him when we've been doing it this way all this time. That's how tech is. Like, and tech doesn't just blame black men. I'm just, from my experience, the only issue is one thing and one thing only: keep your hands to yourself. Do not use this workplace, trying to.
As your dating pool.
That is the number one. That is really, and I think for every job, they're not going to just fire. The thing is, one thing about black men, that camaraderie and knowing how to bring people together, I guess as a team, like, people just, especially a lot of white guys, they'll just, like, they're just cool with black guys like that, especially like, you're a child of the 80s. Other people like Gen X,
But is that also because there's a certain type of black man that fits in a tech environment?
just a black guy with a good attitude, just smile and just have a good attitude, really, and just
Yeah, but okay, so let's talk about, and I don't want to take too long with this. I feel like I should have you on for another broadcast, but um, there's something to be said for corporate culture.
Mhm.
And it could be the types, because there's a certain type of Black person, and let's take Black man for here, that will decide to go into tech, will do the necessary studying to learn the materials, will pass the certification, will have the discipline to go from A to Z. If that were not the case, then there would not be so much unemployment in the Black male space. So, what I'm trying to say is that there's a certain type of um, there's certain characteristics
Right,
that Black man that is coming into that corporate environment
yes,
already has.
he's
Black people naturally have swag. Black men naturally have swag. So
yeah,
when you add swag, for the most part, let's say 95%. So when you add swag onto basic
discipline
technical skills
and
and
discipline.
discipline, exactly.
I'm not even
That's, I think, where that's coming in. If you took and lined up 1,000 different types of Black men, the truth is probably 70% of them wouldn't get through those environments for various reasons.
Sheree, I'm telling you, if a black man, you are a black man, you're from Georgia, Fulton, Macon, wherever, you're from Houston, definitely New York, definitely LA, you're going to get hired if you're a CCNA. Even if you just have Google IT support, you are going to get hired.
And that takes discipline. That
Yes.
takes discipline. So that's where we're adding that in. Hey, selfish love, good to see you, my dear. That's the only place where I'm saying that's where that we're adding that in.
Yeah, you just be disciplined and just keep your hands to yourself. Even if
Mhm.
you have the technical knowledge, you're going to learn it on the job. You will be trained. It's not these engineers, it's not that hard. But you really just need to have discipline, be disciplined to sit down, take the easiest test. Just take the test, have it on your resume, go in, smile, keep your hands to yourself. Moreover, Sheree, and I'll because I know you want to move on from this topic. Remember,
Yeah, because I was gonna finish
we
up in
work
about
from
15
home.
minutes.
We're at home.
Mhm.
It's always been at home. You have to work at home because most of the work these engineers do is at night because you
Mhm.
just can't make changes during the day because everybody in the world is using the application. So you can't
Mhm.
really do much during the day. It's at night. You're at home. So just keep it's really not that hard. It really isn't. And then you have people like me, like a scrum master. A good scrum master will make everything very easy. And what scrum masters will make sure that you have everything that you need, engineer, to be successful for the configuration. I'm going to make, like, a scrum master is like a third grade teacher, like a glorious
Mhm.
third grade teacher who makes a lot of money, but you do a lot of work. And the scrum master really helps streamline, reduces the number of incidents, handles defects, et cetera, et cetera. Like, there's a lot of administrative operational work in tech that the engineers do not do. Like, the engineers really come in like the surgeon who doesn't even have to do like surgical work like that. Like, it's not like that, because it's very collaborative. And if you really do have a good attitude and you are a black, I mean, these guys, these white guys like working with black men. They want more black American men. Like, it's a think the military. You know, the United States military is black men and white men. And NBA, NFL, black men and white men. They work well together. They have for hundreds of years. And tech really is no different. The only issue is the liability if a black man is like consistently harassing a woman,
Mhm.
inappropriate behavior. That is really the
Well,
only,
that's anybody. I mean,
and not
they've even
white
yeah.
males in it, because they I'll just leave that. I'll leave it at that. But it's really harder to fire for inappropriate behavior a white woman or a black woman, black American woman, for inappropriate behavior. It's very, very difficult, and that can go on for a very long time for really anyone. It's these two groups.
Mhm.
In tech, uh, if if as a woman, you can't get away with that nonsense you do other places. And one of the reasons I entered tech is because that type of behavior I saw from females in my younger years. I mean, very inappropriate, bad abusive behavior, really bad. And you can't get away with it as much because of Me Too, but in tech, you really, really, really cannot get away with it. And if you're
Which you shouldn't be able to. I mean,
over
so we're
40
talking
years,
again about corporate culture, and that goes back to what I was saying about, Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon. Like, you're either not worth the trouble or you're gonna cost us too much, you get booted out. So yeah.
remember Bill O'Reilly, they had paid out over 70
Mhm.
million to Bill. Remember,
Yeah.
he was still there, and they were paying him 40 million a year. And Fox News, Murdoch, had paid over 70 million to settle his case,
Mhm.
and they still kept him. They just finally got rid of O'Reilly because I partly think he was kind of getting there, and I just, in my opinion, kind of because ageism, especially with white people, that ageism hits hard, and like and O'Reilly was messing up their deal. They were Sky News, like a billion something, and it was
That's it, I remember that now. Yeah, he had messed up
tired
their
of
deal. It
that.
always comes down to money.
It always comes down to the money, and
Mhm.
if you start causing trouble with the money,
Mhm.
and you finally get caught, either you're going to get fired or private equity will come in because you caused so much trouble, so much liability, so much money. There is no more money. So you basically have to be saved by private equity.
Yeah.
And then they get, they shut things down and get things back in order.
Yeah.
So I
Well, I'm gonna finish up my, final 3 articles here, but I wanna thank you for coming up.
oh, thank you, Sheree. Thank you for letting me come up. I was so surprised when you dropped the link.
Yeah, I thought you were serious. I was like, "Come on up."
Can we
But I do wanna encourage Black women to get into tech if you are looking for, the level up because
I
so
will
many
I will share with everyone, like, I am Lake Life. I bought a house. It's now valued at over half a million.
Mhm.
Live at the lake. I have like a quarter mil in equity. I will tell I will tell your life everything and anything, any question. I will literally tell you exactly what you need to do. And
Well, I definitely wanna have you back then, as well as Brown Skin Girls and a couple of other women, and you all know I'm a fan of tech sales, as well for Black women,
I
so
know a black
yes.
woman, a company you know very well, Sheree.
Mhm.
She cleared almost a mil tech sales.
Mhm.
No joke.
They're not the only one. There are
No
Black women
joke.
clearing $1 million a year
Tech
in
sales,
tech sales.
tech
Yes.
sales, tech sales. If you have the personality, just
Mhm.
study the product.
Yes.
Oh, goodness gracious. And we're
And you
going to
don't even need a certification. You
oh,
just
not at
but you do
all.
need to have good sales, basic
It's,
sales skills, but a lot of companies will teach you that
they
as well.
absolutely will because
Mhm.
sales is revenue producing. Everybody
Yeah,
has a cost. The only people who bring in the money are sales.
our salespeople.
And
So I
sales, whatever
definitely,
they want, they
yeah,
get. I always treat
yeah,
them like little babies. They get really neurotic and stressed out. Like, oh my God. Like, don't worry,
yeah.
I got you. Calling me at 9 o'clock at night. But we love sales. They're the revenue producers. Oh,
Yes.
all right, Sheree, I'll go back.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies, thank you so much to Lake Life AAE coming up. And I only have a few more stories and then we're going to enjoy the rest of our weekend. So, this is a story about the Isley Brothers. Rudolph Isley is reportedly suing Ronald Isley for cutting him out of the Isley Brothers trademark. First of all, I would have thought that the Isley Brothers already had their trademark. Why did they wait until 2023 to get their trademark? We don't know. However, the Isley Brothers are fighting over trademarks. Ladies, get your intellectual property together. Um, so Rudolph Isley isn't here for Ron Isley being the sole beneficiary of their musical legacy. The older brother accuses his younger brother, both originals in their influential band, of trademarking their name, the Isley Brothers, and keeping the profits for himself. According to the lawsuit obtained by TMZ, Rudolph is suing over the rights to the trademark. Rudolph claims they've each had 50% ownership of the band since the death of their brother O'Kelly in 1986. So, ladies, we are always talking about paperwork on this channel, paperwork, and apparently these brothers were not keeping up with their paperwork. Why in the world it would take them this long to file their trademark? Who knows? Okay, next story here. Do you all watch the Hallmark Channel? I happen to love the Hallmark Channel to the point where it's the default channel on my TV. Well, there is a woman named Wanya Lucas who is the CEO of the Hallmark Channel. And guess what, ladies? She's black. What? Yes, Wanya Lucas is head of the Hallmark Channel and she is black. Turns out, I don't know if you don't watch the Hallmark Channel, you haven't seen this. They had started having more diversity within the Hallmark lineup. They started having mahogany Hallmark movies. And I thought, oh, this is kind of interesting. Hey, Dark and Lovely, good to see you here. I thought, well, it's kind of interesting. Maybe they're trying to expand, they're trying to have diversity. And then I came up and then I found this article talking about the fact that the CEO of Hallmark Channel is a Black woman. So shout out to her. She is tasked with expanding the audience for the Hallmark Channel as subscribers leave the paid TV bundle. Lucas has focused on diversifying the cast and storylines of Hallmark's content while staying true to its full feel good brand. So, shout out to Wanya Lucas for being the head of the Hallmark Channel. Ladies, if you like feel good movies, let's support this woman as she is adding more diversity to the Hallmark Channel. Okay, final thing. For all of my Beyonce fans, all of the Beehive, this is the final discussion we're going to have today. Beyonce is fighting a $2.7 million tax bill. Let's see what's happening here. So, she is challenging the IRS on tax deficiencies and penalties they claim she owes. The music superstar is challenging the IRS claims that she owes the U.S. government $2.7 million in taxes. According to the United States tax court documents obtained by Page 6, Beyonce filed a petition on April 17th in which she argues that the governing body made several errors in the determinations of their 2018 and 2019 tax returns. The 41-year-old disputed The 41-year-old disputed by her attorney, for instance, that an itemized deduction of $868,766, which was a charity contribution in 2018, should be allowed. It is unclear for which philanthropic cause this pertains to, but the singer has been the founder of Bay Good Foundation, an organization that assists with education, disaster relief, mental health, and other issues since 2013. And of course, she's supported a lot of charities, blah, blah, blah. The petition also alleges that the IRS allegedly disallowed portions of Beyonce's business income deductions, utilities, insurance, management fees, legal services, and professional services for 2018 and 2019. It is also noted that if the Crazy in Love singer does owe any tax deficiency payments, which occurs when there is a discrepancy between the amount one reports to the IRS and the figure they calculate, then the penalty should not apply because she acted reasonably and in good faith. So basically, they are thinking that she's going to have some money, additional money owed, and $450,000 in combined penalties for both years. So they're talking about her net worth, blah, blah, blah. So, ladies, we talked about the fact that the IRS, I hope you're being facetious about this. We talked about the fact that the IRS is hiring, is it 80,000 new employees? And the first group of people they're going after are wealthy people who are trying to game the system. I wonder if part of this issue with Beyonce is that they're trying to make an example out of somebody big. I don't know, but Beyonce is saying hell to the no, no, no. I don't owe this extra tax money. She'd rather pay the lawyers less money in order to get this straightened out. So we may see more of these types of things to come where different celebrities, different wealthy people are going to start fighting tax bills. Because I'm always telling you, ladies, the United States is broke. You're saying pay it, pay it, Beyonce. The United States is broke, so they're looking for money any way they possibly can get it. You're saying the mahogany movies are excellent. I agree. I watched When Caught My Attention, Girlfriendship expires Sunday, April 30th on demand. Unthinkably Good Things is a much watch. I haven't seen those two, but I have watched a couple of the mahogany movies. Don't ask me which ones. I can't remember the names of them, but they've been very in line with Hallmark. However, to me, the diversity wasn't just like, oh, they put a Black woman, where a white woman could be. There really was like, it seemed like a Black person wrote the scripts because there was cultural relevance to what I was watching. Yet it was people like us as professional women, that were being portrayed. So I like this Wanya Lucas lady that runs Hallmark, and I hope that she really makes it. She really turns things around, and she has a long, prosperous career at Hallmark. And yeah, pay it, Beyonce. Beyonce probably tries to write off every single thing she can, which she should, and we wonder if some of the stuff they're finding the US government does not believe she had all of those deductions. They want their $2.7 million. So, all right, ladies, I want to thank again Lake Life or AAE for coming up and talking with us. And yeah, I will see you all sometime this weekend for another session. Take care. Happy Friday. Bye.